It's not exactly news anymore, but we recently became aware of a patent filed by Activision for a microtransaction engine. This engine, as you've probably read, is designed to basically sell the microtransaction item, be it skin, weapon, or what have you, to the player. There have even been some attempts by some, in articles and so on, to say, oh, this isn't a big deal. But the level of insidiousness here actually goes pretty deep and across several layers, so I'm here to talk about why the patent is bad and exactly how it could impact gameplay. First off, let's take a look at the patent itself and exactly what this microtransaction engine entails. As you can see, the engine will figure out what player A would want item-wise, maybe based on their play history as a certain character or class, or maybe they've recently lost a lot to a certain weapon or class or something along those lines. Having identified this, the engine then matches the person against player B, who has that item they want and also happens to be a higher level than player A. The logic of why this is bad is pretty obvious. If you see the player with the cool thing, be it a skin or whatever, then you may want the cool thing for yourself. When it comes to cosmetic stuff like character or weapon skins, it's not as bad, because at the end of the day, it's like, oh, that skin looks cool, I want it. It's not as bad, but it's still pretty awful considering you should be matched into a game based on stuff like a similar skill level between the players, and important stuff like ping. You know, never mind all that. They've got a cool skin, that's all that matters, right? No. The real problem with this engine, though, is the fact that the engine doesn't care whether or not the player you are playing against is Master League and you're only Bronze. It only cares that they have a cool item and you don't. So you play against this person and your ass gets completely kicked and you think, they had the uber powerful gun TM. I need that too, to win. The engine is even designed to deliberately pit you against someone who has a higher skill level than you, just so that the items they have seem even more desirable. It's not even just like, oh, you might be matched up against someone higher level than you. It's designed to do that exact thing, just to make their item seem better than it is. So let's assume in this case, player A bought the item, and it's a weapon or something like that would be better on a certain map, or something along those lines. The engine will then place player A in a situation where the thing they just bought is more effective. So the game is essentially tricking you into thinking, I just made a great purchase. So if you buy it, then you yourself are used as an in-game advertising tool for the thing you bought. I know, this thing continues to get worse, I did say, layer upon layer. Now this is because you then get put into a scenario where this item is really useful, and the cycle continues, but this time on the other players. This scenario will maybe even be reversed, where you are the more skilled or higher level player, so it's a combination of making the item you bought feel more powerful than it actually is, and also a continuation of this awful cycle of essentially manipulating players into purchasing microtransactions. So not only did this engine basically trick you into buying this item by placing you against a high level player, you are then being used as an in-game advertising tool for this skin, item, whatever. It's pretty clear why this engine is absolutely disgusting and actually has multiple layers of manipulation on not only you, the player, but everyone else around you as well. All in the name of selling more microtransactions. If this is the future we have to look forward to, then, well, it looks pretty damn bleak, as I'm sure you would agree. But there is one very important thing to take away from this. A patent is just a patent, and just because something is patented, it doesn't mean that it will be used. Companies patent things all the time that never see the light of day in actual physicality, but of course, now that they have patented it, they can use it if they want to. That's the whole point. They have been keen to assure us that the system is not present in Destiny 2, but of course, we don't know how many, if any, Activision or Blizzard games will have this appearing in the future. Now also, let's not forget a very important factor. Activision own King, the company behind Candy Crush, and if there's any market that's ripe for this kind of disgusting manipulation tactic, then it is the mobile market. But while we should pay very close attention to what Activision do with microtransactions in the future, we shouldn't get out the doom bells just yet. One upside to the patent is that Activision decide not to use it, then no one else can because, well, the patent is owned by Activision. So with any luck, this will languish in patent purgatory alongside a bunch of other weird and wonderful things, never to be seen again. But it's safe to say that this is concerning, and while it is just a patent, and it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be used, it's still concerning that this is now a possibility, but again, at the same time, only Activision can now use this particular iteration. Obviously, if anyone tries something similar, it has to be different enough to not have a patent dispute from Activision, which obviously no one would want, because I'm sure they have an army of very well-paid lawyers to deal with stuff like that. So this is pretty damn awful, to be honest. I don't think I've ever seen anything quite so disgusting in terms of microtransactions. This is, yeah, really, really bad. So let's just hope that they don't use it. Yeah? Cool. Let me know your thoughts and opinions, guys, in the comments below. Your support is always appreciated, so thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.